This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Greetings from the Philippines to the world. We are on Facebook Live on Eagle News and Net25 TV and also on our streaming site, eaglenewslive.com. Watch us on our YouTube channel at Net25 TV. I am Cesar Vallejo, so welcome to Open for Business. Join me discover the latest news and information in business around the world. Stay ahead of the curve from vision to action. Traffic jams have been a major concern for us commuters and for the country as a whole. Thanks to motorcycle taxi services, we arrive and even our packages and deliveries reach their destinations on time. Even during the early phases of the lockdowns, bikers saved the day as essential services reached families to stay afloat and kept the economy running. In this episode of Open for Business, we have the voice that represents the country's motorcycle riders and owners whose efforts revolutionized the Philippines' mass public transport system. One of the 7 The Outstanding Young Men or TOYM honorees for 2020, George Soroyeca, the Chief Transport Advocate of Angkas, will join us this week in Open for Business.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Open for Business is back, and with me is Mr. George Soroyeca, the Chief Transport Advocate of Angkas. How are you, George?
I'm good, Sir Cesar. I'm happy to be here in your show. Thank you very much for inviting me.
There's a lot of things that we'd like to ask you, and one of this is, of course, how you changed the people's perception about riding and owning motorbikes. So this used to be, some people call it a hazardous vehicle, but you have transformed it into an effective app-hailing site and really a disruptive model. Can you describe us your journey, how you go through it?
And it's really been quite a journey. With not just me, but really the community, the bikers. Before Angkas came along, there was really that negative stigma for riding motorcycles or back riding in motorcycles, and I think that entire segment has been really misunderstood. What we did was just really professionalize the industry, made sure that they had proper training, and ensured that our commitment to safety was unparalleled. That was really was the most important thing for us, and we stood our ground. We didn't cut any corners, and we proved that. If you train the Filipino people, you provide them the right tools. We always say Filipinos abroad, they excel, they get better. How come here in the Philippines, there's so much inefficiencies. But if you're really serious in education, if you're really serious in providing them the right tools and training, they become very, very productive citizens of our country, and they follow rules and regulation. And this is not my award or my merit or my accomplishment and achievement, but this is really the achievement of tens and thousands of motorcycle drivers that have proven that they can be safe on the road. We have a 99.997% safety record. That's a 0.003% accident rate versus the national average of over 50% of all accidents are motorcycle related. And this is a testament that it can be done. It is being done, and I just hope that ito pong ginagawa po natin na 4 na taon sa Metro Manila and sa Cebu, makita po at mabigyan ng pansin ng gobyerno at it gets given the right recognition so that it can be the model, no, for every single municipality, every single city, every single corner of our country, where we can empower entrepreneurs, our fellow citizens, to become real entrepreneurs and make a good livelihood to take care of their families. Tayo po, dati we just open up an app and wanted to beat traffic, but it really became a advocacy to create jobs. And I think that's really been something that we hold most dear to our hearts, is that community of Filipinos wanting to make a decent living, a dignified livelihood, just to take care of their family. And I hope that the government really recognizes it, and we're really I want this time award to really give me a megaphone so that we can really make sure that the law is passed this year.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really something enlightening. But you tackled some of the challenges that you have mentioned, and one of that is really dealing with government, dealing with policies. So what has changed? I know that you were talking about, was there a specific data, a study that, was really helpful to change their minds? I know that, dealing with a lot of policy restrictions and lobbyists and the community as well, and the civil society. Was there a study that you have presented, that somehow changed their minds? Because there might also be some models that are very effective in other countries. As a matter of fact, I think, of course, the ride-hailing service is not just here in the Philippines, although you pioneered it. But can you talk more about how you made that kind of effort, to help transform how the government and the policy makers really support this initiative?
I think everyone's coming from a good place, and again, it's just different perspectives, but we all want the same thing. A lot of people say that it's really hard to work with government. I think it's not just about government, but it's always a challenge to work with a big organization. And the government is clearly a big organization with a lot of moving parts. But really, I think it's just the determination of our drivers, the community. At the end of the day, it's all boiled down to safety, Cesar, no? And it's the safety record that really spelled the difference. And, a lot of people couldn't believe their eyes that they were seeing this running. And our first customers, when we first started, our regular customers, our most loyal customers, would get dropped off 3 houses away from their homes kasi nahihiya sila or natatakot sila na pagalitan ng magulang nila. And now we have, CEOs, celebrities, personalities, business people, executives, and from all demographics riding motorcycles. And it's really, it's really just because it's a lot more efficient in navigating the traffic back then, pre-COVID periods. But then it was really the safety aspect that we just made sure that we didn't compromise. It was a longer route, but it was well worth that effort that we made. And now we're a model. There are other players in the industry that are doing exactly what we're doing exact trading that we're doing. And I hope that we become an inspiration to not just the motorcycle industry, but many, many other industries that needs to make sure that they have not only quality but the safety of their customers in mind.
George, speaking of safety, motorbikes and your app, saved the day, especially during the lockdowns. A lot of people would wanted deliveries on their homes, and somehow, it kept families afloat. It kept the economy running. What were your initiatives during the pandemic? And there were a lot of people also in the industry, who had problems with their livelihood because of the lockdowns. But again, as the voice of the industry, you somehow initiated some changes and lobbied for the safety measures that not only benefits your organization but the industry. What were these initiatives, and do you think there's more of this kind of innovation? Because as we are observing, there are still lockdowns, quarantines, and in other reports around the world, there's a wave 2 and wave 3 already. So how do you think this is going to move in terms of the safety, as we say, in the new normal?
Again, before Angkas, was here, motorcycles were, that the perception of motorcycles today was dangerous, and habal-habal was as a life or death situation or a life-threatening situation in many instances. And because we put in the safety measures and we innovated on the product, we used technology, we used our safety training, we professionalized it. It became safe for to be used as a public form of public transportation. COVID is no different. It's just another challenge for us, for us to show that we can move forward with our lives in a safe manner and live with COVID. I've been saying this from the very beginning. And, because I didn't have much to do back then because our business was shut down temporarily because of the COVID situation. In fact, all public transportation was shut down for a time. I decided to, dig my heels in, roll up my sleeves, and work with the government to try to figure this out. In the beginning, nangangapa pa tayo lahat. We really didn't know anything about the virus. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know to what extent or how long this would take. But as it progressed, we started getting more information. We started getting the medical community involved, and they started to, find out more about the virus. And, here we are with the safety precautions, the protocols that we have, wearing a mask, wearing a face shield, social distancing, and then, keeping good hygiene, hand hygiene. And that has kind of like steered us through, these lockdowns and openings and reopenings and lockdown again. And, we've proven that we can weather the storm and we can be safe throughout. And that was a challenge for Angkas to be safe again. And then later on, we realized through many research, we worked with the UP College of Public Health and the IATF and the National Task Force. We came up with a safe design for a barrier. Our customers required to use their own helmets, which was a big blow to our ridership. Of course, because of the additional hurdle, but again, it's not the compromise in safety that we kind of, stood our ground. And we realized also that open air ventilation was very, very good, as a good atmosphere, to prevent COVID, the spread of COVID, So these were some of the factors that led to the eventual resumption of motorcycle taxis. And there was a lot of back and forth with the medical community, with the experts, with science. And then we did a lot of studies as well. And, it helped with the fact that I was helping the government try to figure things out, not just in motorcycle taxis, in public transportation and other aspects. Again, it's solving that problem, and we're not out of the woods yet. There's a very good vaccine program, a portfolio of vaccines that's coming up. Hopefully people would want to take it. Hopefully we get to that herd immunity and be able to stop this virus from spreading altogether. But I think there's already a lot of reopening happening, a lot of steps taken to reopen the economy and start commerce. And we've progressed quite a long while from where we were back then in the dark ages where everything was just locked down. And now I think we're better equipped. We have better knowledge about the situation, a better handle in it. We have localized lockdowns that we do implement to stave off further outbreaks. And it's it's a learning process, and we continue to learn new things every single day. There's new things about the virus that we learn on a daily basis, and what surprised me pleasantly is really the whole of nation approach, that everyone just came in and stepped in their own little way, in their own big way, in any way that they could, and the bayanihan spirit was really shown, and was really uh, exemplified during this crisis, and I think that is one of the best takeaways that I can see. If there's anything positive that we can get out of this, it's, we've learned how to work together.
So one of the important things also that you mentioned, George, is the concept and the behavior of Filipinos, and the values of Filipinos in terms of discipline. Kasi di ba, isa nga ito sa major content ng training mo. Yeah, and the transformation of how how Filipinos look at the motorbike as safe and secure vehicle. Now it's now transformed into this delivery or ride-hailing service. Hindi ba bakit malaking issue ang disiplina sa mga Pilipino? Not that I am calling on some of the members of the community or Filipinos in terms of the lack of discipline, but how did you transform that kind of perception, and how hard was it for you to come up with this it could be a training module or an educational module to really make Filipinos, or both the riders, owners, and also the people who are riding them in terms of discipline. Kasi sabi mo nga, ang habal-habal matagal na nandyan, pero ang disiplina not necessarily andyan. So I think that kind of discipline is the value that we needed, that we should be reminded with, so that we have to professionalize the industry. How did you do it in terms of training?
Alam niyo po, Sir Cesar, one word: education. Discipline was a symptom of lack of knowledge, lack of training. Hindi rin po natin masisi, dahil a lot of them looked at motorcycles, lived with motorcycles, grew up with motorcycles a certain way. And lalo na po sa pinaka farthest regions of our country, they had to make do. Papunta po sila akit ng pabundok, motorsiklo, linagyan po natin ng kahoy at naging Skylab. They didn't know any better. But Filipinos, are very resilient that way. They're very innovative, very creative. Madiskarte po tayo eh. Kung ano man yung nandyan sa atin, ginawan po natin ng paraan in the best way we know how. Pero ang nakita po namin, napakadali po na mapalit yung mindset na yon once na nag-offer po tayo ng tamang patakaran. At tinuro po natin ng maayos. Hindi po yung gagawa po tayo ng patakaran tapos walang may alam. And we just pretend that it's magic, na biglang malalaman na lang po ng lahat ng tao. We took a lot of pains and a lot of work in making sure that we trained each and every one of them. In fact, in the first 3 years, we trained over 100,000 motorcycle bikers for free. And we only passed 30,000. So we failed 70%. Pero libre po yan. Pwede sila mag-training ulit. Pwede sila ulit-ulitin lang yan hanggat makuha po nila. At least nabahiran po sila ng training at sa daan mas alam na po nila yung kailangan nilang gawin, and you'll be surprised how easy it was for them to be quote unquote undisciplined pero hindi po sila undisciplined, hindi lang po talaga nila alam yung tamang patakaran, and yung tinuro po sa kanila yon sumunod naman. And Angkas is a true testament of that, the Filipino spirit, in terms of really be wanting to have a better life, wanting to take care of their family, and yung sipag po nila at tiyaga. Mahirap po maging motorcycle taxi biker. You know, bilad po kayo sa araw for 10 hours, 8 hours. Hindi po siya madali na under the sun, and you know, and they get paid for it. And they love their job and they take pride in their job kasi alam po nila gaano kahirap yung ginagawa nila at gaano kahirap maging biker ng angkas, and that has become a model and inspiration. Alam niyo po, pag nakikita ng mga ibang bikers na tinatawag nilang kamote, yung angkas biker na sumusunod sa daan, sila po yung nahihiya at sumusunod na rin. So not only do we train them, but we also try to make sure that we always lead by example. And that has become a shining beacon for everybody else. And I'm happy and I'm glad that somehow we made some impact in the industry and for everybody else to make the road safer for our commuters and for our motorists.
Now, one of the advantages of being young like you is your expertise in innovation and technology with technopreneurs like you. Anong may papayo mo sa mga maliliit ding negosyante or students of entrepreneurship who want to go into business? There's an advantage, especially now during the pandemic, that a lot of things are connected to the internet. If you're not on the internet, you're out. So is this the future, and what will be next for your organization? Are we looking at Angkas Food, Angkas Clothing, or any other brand? What's your next innovation, George?
Alam niyo po, to all budding entrepreneurs there, mga negosyante na gusto magtayo ng negosyo na wala ng trabaho, ang advice ko lang sa inyo, just do it. Gawin niyo lang. You have to start. Start it now. You're gonna make mistakes. Mahirap po yan. And you can leverage. Right now is the best time to create a business. Kasi everything's online. Lahat po can use technology. Matanda, mahirap. Matanda, bata, mahirap, mayaman. May alam, walang alam. YouTube po. Lahat po. Nalalaman na po natin kung paano gumawa ng isang bagay sa YouTube lang. There's so many platforms out there like Shopee, Lazada that allows you to become sellers, to give you a storefront automatically. There's so many delivery platforms there that can expand your market from your street or to your neighbors to the rest of the country and even the world. But you gotta start with just starting, and for me that's really the best thing that you can do, as an entrepreneur. Wag po tayo matakot kasi we're all in the same place right now. Parehong lugar, iba-ibang barko. Yung iba mas nakayate, yung iba mas maganda yung barko, yung iba isang kahoy. Pero we're in the same storm. And we can make use of technology if we just do it. I think for tech, this is the best time because there's so much tech out there that can help us. Now we don't have to invent anything, we don't have to program anything, we can just go to the internet and use it. So talaga pong exciting po itong time na to. At marami po tayong oras kasi nasa bahay lang po tayo. So ang dami po natin pwedeng i-sideline. Wala na pong traffic ngayon kasi Zoom to Zoom na lang po yung meeting natin. Kaya mas marami po tayong nagagawa, pero always make sure to balance out your life. Huwag masyadong puro trabaho, huwag laging on kasi masisiraan din po tayo ng bayat doon na kailangan din po tayo ng konting relaxation and balance lang po. But then just do it to all entrepreneurs. Do it right now. Don't wait.
Wow, that's an inspiring way to end this conversation. The Chief Transport Advocate of Angkas, Mr. George Royeca. Open for Business will be back. Stay with us. Open for Business is back, and the term of the week is from ecolame.com. Ride hailing is when a rider hails or hires a personal driver to take them exactly where they need to go. The transportation vehicle is not shared with any other riders, nor does it make several stops along a route. Ride sharing, by contrast, is synonymous with carpooling. It is literally the process in which a rider shares a vehicle with other riders. It is not personal transportation, as the space is shared and it will make stops to pick up other riders. And our word of the week is from an anonymous source. He said, "Doesn't matter what you ride, give respect to get respect." Thank you for watching Open for Business. Join us again in the next episodes of Open for Business for more insights from CEOs, thought leaders, industry experts, and SMEs promoting business development in the Philippines. See you again every Saturday and Sunday here in Open for Business, where we discuss business information, deliver the latest business news to keep you informed and open for business, and be ahead of the curve from vision to action. You're on Facebook Live on Eagle News and at Net25 TV, and you can watch this again in the video section of the Eagle News and Net25 Facebook pages and on eaglenewslive.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Net25 TV. Thank you again for watching. For Open for Business, this is Cesar Vallejos. We live in interesting times.
Factual,
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
timely information, balanced, not only in the country,
No matter who
but
you go
also
to,
abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Agila Pilipinas! A one-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Agila Provincia.
Sa mga taga-Iloilo at Antique, mapiyang
Tune into Mata ng Agila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Agila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science, and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International
On
delivers the
tonight's
latest
headlines.
global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to Exchange, our health outdoor
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
Bakit puputol yung communications with Benedict? He's doing very good as a business manager sa isang malaking kumpanya sa Spain. I was thinking na he can enter as a industrial partner sa business natin.
Yang kapatid ko,
Mahal na mahal ko yan. Kapag masaya siya, marami siya naiisip na business strategy. Kaya gusto ko, lagi siyang masaya.
Paano naman siyang masaya?
Lalo ngayon, kasama sila ng kapatid mo. Kung mapapanatili ng kapatid mo na masaya ang kapatid ko, done deal na ang clothing brand mo.
Binebenta mo ang kapatid mo. Ano? Para makuha mo ang investment ni Stefan?
Dalaga si Althea. Binata si Adonis. Kapag nagkagustuhan sila, everybody's happy.
Pero wag na wag mong isusugal ang puso ng kapatid mo, Odette. Binabalaan kita!
James? James! Mga anak! Mga anak! Ang papa niyo! James! James!
Mama Mia Benedicto.
Ano yan, ma?
Sir James, pumanaw na pala.
Papa ni Odea?
Bumili ka ng card. Magpapadala tayo ng pakikiramay sa pamilya.
From Madrid, Spanya.